who walks with you, the right ones who want to. Some will stay, some will go. Always remember they don't define who you are. Let them stay, let them go. Never forget you gotta love who you are. Some will stay, some will go. Always remember they don't define who you are. Let them stay, let them go. Never forget you gotta love who you are. And those who love who real you are meant for you. Life is what you make of it. It's the fire in your soul. If you keep on hiding it from the world, you will never know who will see the best in you and stand by you through the storm. So keep shining bright like the sun. Don't stop for anyone. Some will stay, some will go.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am exhausted. Praise God more than I can I am strong when I am on
It happens every Sunday, doesn't it? As soon as we sit up here, or whoever sits up here, the whole congregation goes quiet.
You will pick it in the naughty house.
Well, no. Shall we? Yes, crack on. Yeah. Well, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to Poole Christian Church. Spiritual church as well, sorry. We're starting the service a little earlier today because it's a very special day. It's Remembrance Sunday, and at 11 o'clock we are going to have our 2-minute silence with the rest of the country. So I'd like to welcome Lawrence, who's going to be doing our mediumship as well as his reading and philosophy. And we're going to have our usual little chat with Ted, or he's going to give a little chat to you about his life as a young man during the Second World War. And we look forward to that, Ted. So thank you for coming up with another story that hopefully won't bring us all to tears like you did last year, because I had to follow him with a reading and I was struggling to keep myself together. So there we are. Right, so the 2-minute silence is a tradition observed in the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth countries on Remembrance Day to honour all those who have died in conflict. It takes place at 11 o'clock on November the 11th, the day of armistice, ending the First World War, which went into effect in 1918. The silence is also observed on Remembrance Sunday at the same time, which is today. The 2-minute silence is usually held at war memorials and in public places. And I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, driving over this morning, the amount of people I saw out with their berries on, veterans with their medals, all walking to different churches right across the area from Dorset where I come from. And it was quite sort of, wow, it's really impressive to see so many people out and about celebrating this day, or commemorating this day, I should say. So the 2-minute silence is usually held at war memorials and public spaces, and the tradition was started by King George V in 1919. The timings of the silence is significant because it marks the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The word armistice comes from the Latin and means to stand still arms, and obviously bringing the guns and everything to its total silence. And I think we've all got somebody that we will know who fought in the First World War, as a grandparent maybe, certainly for the old elderly or more elder people, and for the young ones who will have heard stories about their grandparents or their great-grandparents who fought in the First World War. My father fought in the Second World War, and I have many, many stories to recall about how he fought his bit of the war. And when I hear stories from when Ted spoke last year, it really did resound with me about certain things. I thought, gosh, that was my dad as well. He was one of those people who had his own little war going on, but he was fighting with everybody else to bring what we'd like to think is peace in the world. And when we look around, there really isn't that much peace still, is there, sadly? And it is one of those things that we have to just think about all those who have passed away and who gave their lives for us to have our lives today and to live in this peaceful country that we do live in. So it's nearly 11 o'clock, but I'm just going to carry on.
Yeah,
Carry on
in.
waffling. Not
Doing
waffling.
well.
No, but it is, we've all got stories to recall, and it's just so nice to see everybody proudly wearing their poppies today. And, it's been everybody wearing poppies for the last week or so, really. It's not just today that people have been wearing them. They've been wearing them with pride for over a week or two. And it's funny, isn't it? Whenever somebody on the television, a newsreader or a journalist being interviewed, and he's not wearing a poppy and he's out in another part of the world, somebody gets straight onto it. Why wasn't that journalist or why wasn't that interviewer wearing a poppy? And it's so... I very, very quickly, before it gets to 11 o'clock, I remember when I worked in London many years ago, and I had a young Australian guy working for me as a barman, and everyone was wearing poppies, and he said to me, why is everyone wearing poppies? And I looked at him and I thought, don't you understand what the poppy stands for? And he says, no. I said, well, during the First World War, I said, there were so many people killed in Flanders, and it was the poppy fields. And I said, the poppy has become the emblem to remind us of all those fallen. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 11 o'clock, and I think that we should just please stay seated if you wish, or stand if you wish, and we'll have 2 minutes silence. Thank you. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. I'd now like to ask Lawrence to give our opening prayer for the service.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We just take this time now on this very special day, this one day out of 365 that we devote to the act of remembrance. An eternal Father, God of our own understanding, we gather together, which is reflected across the land and the countries, in honouring those who have given their all so that we may live our lives in our own accord. And in and through this energy, in and through this understanding, and in and through this humbleness, we know that your love pervades the very atmosphere of our lands. Your love and thoughts pervade the very minds of all those gathered here and far to honour and remember. we leave this service, this small part, our token to those who have gone before, in your hands and care and keeping. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lawrence. Okay, we're going to have our first piece of music. Right, I'm now going to ask Ted to come up onto the stage and recall a story from your youth and some of your experiences. I'll just get a chair for you.
Oh, that's lovely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You are again.
Yeah,
Over to you, Ted.
yeah, 12 months. It's gone and disappeared. I don't know where it's gone. So, what I want to talk about is this. Candles. Just ordinary candles. I came across them when I was looking for something else in the cupboard, as you do, and I realised that these candles came from my in-laws' house when we cleared it after they died. They still got the price of 1 and 6pence on them. What they cost today, I've no idea. But then it got me thinking, candles, how have they played a part in my life? And I think back to when I was a lad, when the war started in 1939, I was 9 years old, just a schoolboy. Little cap, short trousers, dirty knees. That was us in those days. But where I lived in the East End of London, we lived in a row of about 8 shops. It was like a local shopping centre. My parents owned one of the shops, which was a draper's shop. They both served apprenticeships in the trade in the big shops in the West End of London, so they knew what they were doing. I had a brother who was 4 years older than me, and when they said we are at war, it didn't mean anything. I think I knew about war with my toy Fulton soldiers, little lead soldiers. And I knew my father had been in the First War, and that's all I knew, because I knew that at the age of 17 he'd run away from home and joined the army. But by 1917 they didn't ask your age. You were in. But he never, ever said one word about what went on, what he saw and what he did. He was always evasive when you asked him. I had another uncle who was in the army in the First War, and he was in Palestine. He was in the Royal Artillery, and of course in those days the guns were drawn by teams of horses, and he was called up because he was a farm boy and he knew horses. In fact, the government recruited all the farm boys they could to be able to control the horses. So, but he finished up in Egypt and went across the deserts with General Allenby when they were fighting the Turks. But that's by the by. What am I going to talk about is candles. And there is a candle behind me. Can you just see? Is it? No, it's not lit. What I want to emphasise is the flame. To look at the flame. There's a flame like that in Westminster Abbey on the tomb of the unknown warrior. But since it was lit, has never gone out. And it got me thinking, when I found these in the cupboard, what part of my life candles have played. Because where we lived in this row of shops, we didn't have electric, we had gas. Everything was gas. The lights, cooking, everything. And it was, we had what we called in those days an outside toilet. You had to go outside the back door to go to the toilet. And in there, we always had a candle because there was nothing else. So right from early childhood, you sort of accepted candlelight. My brother and I slept in the same room. We did have a third bedroom, but we always referred to it as Annie's room, but Annie never arrived, so she never had a room. With the start of the war, underneath our shops, the shop and the stock room was two cellars. Well, they were divided by a wall, and the back one that turned into an air raid shelter. He got some old doors from somewhere, reinforced the ceiling, things like that. And Mum and Dad had a double bed down there, and my brother and I had the old canvas army cots, well, army beds, just canvas. And because it was dangerous to have gas going during an air raid, we always had candles down there. And when we went to sleep at night, I was 9 and my brother was 13. And the last thing you saw at night was this flame. And I can remember as a kid looking at that flame, and it became your world, because when you look at it, your mind seems to sort of concentrate on the light, and in that light you can see a whole world that you never see any other time. And it's something I do every day, when I hope to, is to sit and meditate. And when I do sit and meditate, I sort of, I suppose, go almost into a trance, because I look at that flame, slightly moving sometimes, others it's straight, and I can see a whole world in there, a world nothing like this. And it's a great comfort to me. And when I think back to sleeping in that cellar with just a candle light, we lived like that for 4 years, every night. Didn't go upstairs to bed. Didn't know there was an upstairs. But we always slept in our cellar. And candles always seemed to have meant something to me, because to me they're another world. And when I look at times, you see like a flicker. It just moves. And I puzzled about this for a long time, for many years. And then when I started to go to a spiritualist church, when the first one I went to was with my wife and her grandma at Paynton in Devon, and that was 70 years ago. Yeah, 70. And I was quite impressed with the service, having been brought up in the Church of England. And we moved about quite a bit, and eventually we arrived in Bournemouth, or Poole as it was. We lived in Ashley Road. And we went to Bournemouth Church because didn't know this place existed, didn't know Bournemouth at all. But we knew, somebody told us about the church in Bournemouth, so we used to go there. And it all began to fall into place. Almost talk about the spirit world. And often when I'm sitting there and I see the candle, the flame, I think to myself, yeah, there's somebody there. I wonder who it is. And then again, it'll go and blow the other way. Almost two of you. Amazing. But it just goes to reinforce the fact that you don't die. There's somebody there. They've come to see you. You're sitting quiet. So they'll move the flame to say, don't worry, I'm here. So that's how candles have always been a part of my life. And to say it's a sign, I'm positive it's a sign. That's all I'm going to say today. I just want to finish with to recite the words carved on the Kohima Memorial in Burma. When you go home, remind them of us who gave our today for your tomorrow. You've still got tomorrow.
Thank you, Ted. That was lovely. Okay. What a lovely story. Does make you think, doesn't it, how life has moved on from candles and outside toilets. And no, but it's very time. My grandparents had an outside toilet, and story that's quite poignant. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we go over to Lawrence, who will give a reading and some philosophy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ted. That was beautiful. We are so fortunate we've got living memories of that time, because each year those living links return home. So thank you so much for sharing that. And don't forget, your memories now have been shared with everybody here, with everybody watching online, so they will continue. So well done.
Thank you.
The reading is taken from the Zodiac messages. Now, Zodiac was a scribe at the time of Jesus, and through circles his messages were transcribed and built up several books. The Zodiac books are wonderful. They are quite heavy going. Literally, you can just read one paragraph and go away thinking, okay. But they are a great resource. And this is taken from a chapter which is entitled Warfare on the Earth Plane. O my children, think of your boys, think of your heroes and heroines, and remember that as your gratitude goes forth to them because they did their best under the direst circumstances, because they died physically so that you may live, remember that your gratitude will reach them and enable them to do more. It is one of the saddest sights to those who are free from the flesh to see how soon those in body forget their benefactors. But when they pass over, they will have the anguish of seeing that others, materially minded, have forgotten what they sought to do for them and struggled and sacrificed to bring about. So on this day of remembrance, we take another step forward, going through the mind of the body and seeing what is there, which does not bear resemblance to the mind of love. Be not despairing. If it seems to you that there is so much that you do not like, God understands, and as long as you strive, as long as you pay tribute to those that are helping you, so I can promise that God will finish what you have not the spiritual strength yet to bring to fruition. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful reading sentiments, and you can almost pick up on the energy of the time with these readings. As Ted was saying there, sitting with a candle, sometimes sitting with a book, reading some of these scriptures, the ancient writings, because they are so valid to today. It's what I always find in the spiritual writings of the past, the actual energy, the actual thought, the actual circumstance that is being dealt with or tackled is exactly what we've got outside the doors of our world today. It's timeless writings. And it is, isn't it? We see remembrance. We have this one day that we devote to remember in honour and in gratitude to all those who have gone before, who gave their all. I did smile when Ted said about his uncle and not sharing his thoughts and memories of the war, because I had exactly the same with my father. When you spoke of the war, there was very little said. And I always remember with my father, for about a week before remembrance, this mood would shift, would change. With my understanding of today, I understand it's the energy. Those of us who practice our spiritualism, who sit in circles, who sit for a while, will have noticed that the last week things become slightly more denser, slightly more slower, slightly more retrospective. And it is this gathering. You imagine now, you imagine that we were all blessed with clairvoyance. You imagine what you could see across this world. Every service of the remembrance, we've seen the park with hundreds of people going in. Not just from the great wars, but from the wars that continue and are still happening today. But you imagine the spirit world joining. How many times do we say from the platform, when you think of somebody, they're there? So you imagine that power, that energy that is going out from the cenotaph, from Poole Park, from wherever it is, across the land, across the nations. That one thought, we remember you. Where do you think they're going to be? Right there. And you can feel that energy still to this very day. We understand as the generations change and the ability to hear the real life stories, that memories will start to fade. We understand that. If you noticed during the 2-minute silence, there was 2 little kids running around outside laughing and joking. But you know what? That is why we're here. To remember those that gave these people the right and the honour and the way of life that we know today. To enjoy life. Although some people may have tutted, and I remember going back to my childhood, remembrance time, there was nothing. Cars stopped. Everything stopped. And it's easy to say, well, they haven't got the respect these days, they haven't got this, they haven't got that. But we have, consciously or not, when we enter into that act of remembrance and spreading that remembrance out, not only to those who gave their all, but to those who continue to give their all, in no matter what theatre. We have representatives here today from the armed forces, we have representatives from the health service. That act of remembrance is that act of gratitude. It's to take that pause. And no matter how difficult our life is, if I were to ask each and every one of you, what are your hardships? You would be reeling them all off, as would I. But take that time to say, what are you grateful for in your life? What do you celebrate in your life? What do you want to give thanks for in your life? Because that is always there. No matter what times we go through, even in the darkest days, there is still that memory, that remembrance of those that helped us, of those that stepped in and said, it's going to be all right, of those that said, I'm here. So this day, this Remembrance Day that we always celebrate, we always continue, will change, it will evolve. Very heart-wrenching this morning seeing the people going into the park, and there were people from obviously modern-day theatres of war and walking, with the blades, with amputees and things like that, and you just think, wow, when will we ever learn? When will we ever learn? But if we go down that route, we can become a bit negative. We can stifle our power, our emotion. But when we hear the laughter of children, just remember, that's what this day is about. That ability to live our lives. You're all free to walk out the door. You're all free to do what you want. You're all free to have your own thoughts, your own minds, and especially within this understanding of spiritualism, that knowledge that there is no death. There is a change from the physical to the spiritual, but the essence never dies. So join in with this thought of this day of remembrance and know that the throngs of all those from all previous conflicts are there, and in gratitude for that act of remembrance, thankful that they have never been forgotten, thankful that people have made the effort to be wherever, just simply to say, we thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. We now come on to our second piece of music, and the collection for the today will be going to the pool ex-services, the ex-forces in the Pool Borough. So thank you very much for that.
It's an organisation called the Stronghold, which is fairly new, but it's there to support all services, whether serving or retired, with various conditions. So as a local charity, local to us, yeah, support them. Thank you.
Do I press that first or just to move it on?
I don't know.
We'll just press that again. Piece of music, and whenever Lawrence asks me to come and do the chairing, I never know the pieces of music, but that's one of my favourites, so that was lovely. Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the medium demonstration, and I'm going to hand over to Lawrence to pass a message on from whoever. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. In years past, we haven't included a demonstration of evidential mediumship in our Remembrance Service. But when I was putting all this together and with the inspiration that was flowing, it just felt right, because again, it is imbued with that energy of remembrance. each and every time we gather, whether it be one-to-ones, a demonstration, a service, we are gathering in that energy of remembrance and gratitude. So of course it feels right to invite the other world to be part of this service and to find that voice through me, he says, hopefully. But there's 2 working mediums in the congregation, so if it all goes horribly wrong, gird your loins. As I'm drawing into this energy, I do have a lady, and I can feel the humour of this lady coming forward as well. I know with this lady, I would have been known for my humour, I would have been known for my quick remarks, I would have been known also for my insightfulness and my vision. This is interesting. As that hymn was being sung, we can see the people leaving now the Park of the Remembrance, and we can see that shift in energy again in people. We can feel that lifting, that energy coming in. Not, I've done my part, it's over. Glad that I did my part. And she found that really interesting. She takes my mind to acts of remembrance. She takes my mind also to remembrance services in her local church, where there would have been an element of her input. Now, as I'm saying that, I am seeing flower decorations here. So would somebody understand this lady in spirit? Good sense of humour, very insightful, and there would have been a link to an Orthodox church, or to a church. I've just been corrected, so maybe not an Orthodox church. But her input would also be, she would help out with things. She would do, you know what, the people stood on the platform are only here because of all the people that come in and do all the other jobs. Yeah? And I've got this lady that she was in the background doing things. And I do want to say there would have been an element of doing flower arranging or making sure the flowers were all right before the service. Show me where you're going. Does anybody understand this? 2. Okay, that's not where I thought I was going, so that's good. Excellent. So you would understand this, the humour with her, but you would also understand very insightful, because even in the humorous comments she'd say something and you think, oh, that's okay, yeah. And you would understand this link to a church and with the flowers as well also. Wonderful.
Ali also put her hand up at the back there.
Right, wonderful. There we go. You know what? The medium's biggest fear is everyone says no. Now we've got 3 people, so that's even better. That is wonderful. So, I'm going to invite all 3. All right, all 3 have put their appearance in. So I will draw to each of you and link in with the person for you. Darling, as I'm linking with you, this lady would have smoked as well. Yeah, because I want to be doing this, which is very frustrating when I haven't got a cigarette in my hand. And also, is this character of hers, because I'm not taking a drag, there's a bit of a show there as well. There's a bit of flamboyance. Not sure.
Should have it in my mouth, right?
Oh, good girl. Would either of you 2 understand this then with the lady, a little air of flamboyance?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so there we go. See, my mind takes me, but the other world says no. So but this would reflect in her clothing as well, because I've got a very smart lady here.
Yeah.
Yeah? And the poppy was very,
Yes.
very poignant for her, because I know as my hand goes to mine, this emotion. Is this a husband she lost in war, please, or father?
No.
No? But there was somebody in the family lost to war.
Not in her.
Not in her, but there's this close link, because I know this has a special significance. I know when I draw my attention to the poppy, there are thoughts going out to somebody in particular as well. All right. This lady had dogs as well, please. See animals around her.
No.
No? Okay. We'll put the animals to run. This is going to be a good service, isn't it? Would the name Joyce resonate with you as well?
Yes.
Good. I'll just ask for one thing that will resonate. So, yeah. And this lady was a bit of a knitter as well, because I can hear the clicking there and I can see. And I know in these times of knitting, this was her time to sort of like drift away a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, she'd make a really good spiritualist actually, because she's got that openness, that understanding there, and also this very strong energy of helpfulness.
Yes.
She would help out. Was there links to some sort of children's club or boys' club?
Children's.
Children's club.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know I can just hear the children laughing and around her, and I know she loved this air of giving. I know she loved this way of showing her gratitude to people. Even the little gifts to her meant the world to her. Yeah. Was this you that presented her with just a little bunch of flowers? I'm not talking, extravagant bouquet. I'm talking, you've been down the roundabout and grabbed a handful.
Yes.
Yeah?
Lots of time.
Yeah. Because she's just drawing my mind to that, and that feeling when she received them was absolute joy and thankfulness. Yeah? Her presence, her love for you is just so strong, all right? And when my mind is being taken to when you were just up here, and she was very much there, and she was just so proud, and she was so thankful, and she just wants to go like that to you. I'm not going to do it for her. All right, you're safe. Jan, could you do it, please? That's it. Thank you. There we go. She laughed at that. She loved that. Thank you. She just wants to say thank you so much. One day we will meet up again, but nobody's in a hurry. No one's in a hurry. But in time, and she says, "No, I'll be there. I'll be there." All right? Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, yeah, the other one step in, please. You made an appearance. I'm not going to ignore you. Okay, the second lady with this initial opening line here. I also have a little bit of strictness with her as well. I know I want to be standing up straight. I know I would have worn glasses because I want to keep moving my glasses around. When I say strictness, it's not... I feel when you first met this lady, it took a bit of effort to get to know her. There was something in her personality that... I don't want to paint this dark or black, all right? But there was just something about her that initially didn't come across as warm. And I'm looking at you, Ali.
Yes.
You understand that? Yeah. As I say, she's not demonstrative. She's not anything else. But she had this because this was her protection, she tells me. Because she says, going back in my life, I dealt with a lot of things. Oh, that's good. She said, in your world today, you have so many avenues for people to explore the wrongs done to them. She said, but in my day, that wasn't there. You just had to deal with it and move on. Was there 2 marriages here with this lady, or a relationship and a marriage?
Not to my knowledge, just one marriage.
Okay, but I do feel that's where I'm getting drawn with this. There was an experience with this lady in the younger years which made her put up a bit of a shield with people. You don't know that? Okay. But she just said to me, "You're painting a very dark picture of me, young man." But she did end that with a laugh, thankfully. So you do understand this initial meeting. Not quite sure, but once you got to know her again, yeah, she would support you.
Yes.
Yeah, chocolates. I've got a box of chocolates with this lady.
Yes.
Yes, you would understand that. There was special time. Is this the old-fashioned black magic chocolates? Do you remember them?
Yes, I do.
The plain, not milk chocolates, the plain
Yeah,
chocolate.
I do.
And you associate that with this lady as well?
I can associate chocolate
Brilliant. Yeah, because she just brought that in. She said, maybe this will sweeten you up. To me. I was like, all right. I like her. I do like her. Because she's very straight talking.
with her. Yes.
Yeah. You knew where you stood with her.
Yes.
There was no... I can't say that. I knew you said a really old-fashioned thing, but it's probably not appropriate. There's no grey area with this lady.
No.
It's black and white on things. And when I talk about this black and white link as well there, I feel, was there a Catholic connection with her as well, please? In the
I didn't know about her past, but I know there was another faith with her.
Okay, but I do feel this, I'm getting drawn, when I said the black and white, I had the ordination book in my hand there. And in fact, it's from that era where this defensiveness came in. It is from that era. Okay, that's interesting, thank you. But with that, she's bringing through about this, everything's black and white and dealing with things. This is forming the basis of why she's drawing close to you today. This is why she's around you, just to give you that little bit of support. Now, I know you, as I know most people in the church today, but she's just making my awareness of your voice isn't being heard somewhere. You understand that?
I can take that.
Yeah. And she's just saying, well, it's up to you. I can't make you do it. She said, but you maybe take a leaf from my book and just be a little bit more resolute. And she said, and you can say the word no. You can say that. All right? She said, but just gently with it. Just gently. Is this linked to work, please? Because I feel like I walk away from this situation. Yes or no?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay. I just feel this situation isn't in my home. You understand that?
Okay, I would have said it was.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
Sorry.
But it's not permanently in your home. It's not like somebody's in your home all the time, so you're having to deal with it 24/7. It comes and goes. It comes and goes.
I can't take that.
You can't take that. Okay, that's interesting. Where did I go wrong? She just said, why don't you listen to me? I'm frightened of you. This situation, wherever it is, I apologise. When I say it's not in your home, not there 24/7, I was on the right track with her, but my mind got in the way. This is something that you don't think about all the time, but when you do, it's quite a prominent presence. But then you have the ability to go, well, actually, I need to get on with other things. Do you understand it put that way?
Yes.
Brilliant, thank you. My apology, I misinterpreted. But she's just saying, you know, you can say no to people. It doesn't matter how close they are. You can say no to people. And she says, and what they do with that is actually their business, not yours. But she said, you probably won't. She knows you. She said, you probably won't. She said, but I'm always there. I'm always around. I'm always good. I'm always around. You've seen her through a door. Out the corner of your eye. You've been sat there and just seen a movement in an open doorway.
Yes.
Yeah?
I didn't know if it was her.
It is.
I saw somebody.
It's her. All right, it's just to shut your door. All right. But she just made me aware. She just quickly moved across this doorway, and it was like one of those, did I see that or not? Yes, I did. All right? Wonderful.
Thank you very much indeed.
Right. I want to say Fagash Lil, not being disrespectful, but that is exactly the energy that I'm getting now with this lady. This is London links of this lady, very strong London links. I know London like the back of my hand, yeah, because she's just taken me on this magical tour of things. She's taken me right back in her history. Now we could all say, we've heard from Ted how life was in those days, but I know this lady turned her hand to everything. In fact, I think there was some sort of washing or something like that was doing at one stage. Back in the early years, there was lots of jobs to get money coming in. Yeah, she wouldn't say no to work, all right? But she feels like an itchy soul to me. I could never quite settle. I wanted to move. I wanted more from things. Yeah? I just get this energy about her that I found it really difficult to sit back and go, oh, okay, you're bringing that in, good. I found it difficult to sit back and say, you know, oh, I'm really happy, I'm really content. I thought that wasn't there because I was always looking for the challenge. I was always looking for what could go wrong or what I perceive to be wrong. This lady probably could have an argument in an empty room.
Could, yeah.
Yeah, because I was always looking for... I let the negative things take over my vision rather than being positive about things, because she's relating now to the words that have been said in this service as gratitude things, but she's bringing that back to you. Okay. And she's saying, I never really said thank you to you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
She said, but I do thank you. She said, from this side of life where she is now, I can see. She said, I can't change. I can't change what's happened. She said, because it's all part of our learning. She said, but I do thank you, and especially towards the end, you really put yourself out. Is this Mum?
No.
Okay. But you really put...
Could slide both ways.
Okay. The end of life, you really put yourself out. You don't take this disrespectfully. It's almost like you swallowed your pride a bit and went, no, it's my duty, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah? And she knows that now, and she understands it, and she is so grateful for it. All right? We don't do prophecy, because if we did, I would have won last night's 15 million. But she's just drawing my attention to Christmas. She said there'll be a little bit extra under the tree from me. Ooh, let us know. Let us know. Remember that, everybody, in January. What was it? But there's something there. She's not sadly, she's laughing. She's like, don't be nosy. But there's just something there, something unexpected, but bringing her into it somehow. All right, that's fascinating. Yeah. Did she have long fingernails? Or the opposite?
No, not really. She wasn't that sort.
Because I want to keep doing this with my fingers. I would have a habit, when I was sat there and I got a little bit frustrated, there would be a little nervous habit of something, apart from a fag.
No, not that I know.
No?
Sorry.
Is this you then? Do you...
Might be.
Yeah.
Lately.
We're going to watch you. Everyone's going to watch you now, all the way through the service. But there's just something there, and I know it's just a way of relaxing tension, releasing nervousness there. But take her love, and she does give you her love unconditionally. All right? And again, thank you. All right?
Thank you, Lawrence. Just before we come to the end of our service, I would like to now call on Paul Goswell who will do a reading for us. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Morning. A reading called We Will Remember Them. In the stillness of the evening, I've gone already. When the world begins to rest, we gather all the echoes of those we love the best. Their laughter fills the silence. Their stories weave through time. In every whispered memory, the spirit glows sublime. Through the tears that grace our cheeks and the smiles that break the dawn, we hold them close forevermore in the love that lingers on. For in the heart's vast garden, where the memories bloom and thrive, each petal tells a story, how they made us feel alive. We honour them in moments shared, in the lessons that they taught, in every brave endeavour, in every battle thought. So as the stars shine brightly and the night wraps round our hearts, we lift a quiet tribute for the love that never parts.
It's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Fine. Together we stand as one. Sorry. Through all that life may send, with a promise softly spoken, we will remember them. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Paul.
Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Wrecking the decorations. Before we close, ladies and gentlemen, have some notices. On Monday at 7:15 we have the healing evening. Everybody's welcome. For the church healers to be here for 6:45, and for people receiving healing to be here for 7:15. On Wednesday 7 p.m. we have our open development circle. Thursday at 11 a.m. till 3:30 we have a holistic pamper day. Not quite sure what that is, but I'm sure it'll be most enjoyable for those who are attending it.
Excellent.
Sorry?
It's excellent.
Lovely. Next Sunday, 11 a.m. philosophy service with Amanda, Jane and Rish. Christmas market on Saturday the 30th of November, starting at 11 a.m. I came and attended this last year. I had a stall. It's open to everybody. Please come along. There's various items to be purchased or sampled. If it's alcohol, it could be perfume, it could be all sorts. Chocolates.
I am licensee that day.
Of course you are,
I have
that's
my
right.
one-day license.
So
Exciting.
there will be a gin stand and a dog biscuit treat stand. Not that it has any correlation, but I know that they're definitely going to be there. But yeah, so
Gin and Bonio.
it's not a bonio, no, far better than bonios. So please come and support the Christmas fair, the Christmas market. And then on the Christmas list for the Christmas Day food, items will be available from tomorrow. So I presume this is people purchasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember last year we had the
Christmas
list
Day.
broken down of
Yeah.
every item, and that just enables people to purchase whatever item you wish to. It worked fantastically last year.
Yeah.
So we wanted today to be special for what it is. So the list will go up as from tomorrow, and you can pledge whatever. You can buy a pot of gravy for £1, up to turkey breast roll, which is £32.99, and everything in between. So thank you in anticipation. Also, again, reminder that if you're on your own, or there's only two of you, and you're not really looking forward to Christmas, come down. We have a full roast, proper Christmas dinner, vegan options available. There'll be no alcohol because I know already we've got a few people who are coping with addictions who will be with us, so it's not fair to sit there with a gin and bonio. But yeah, we're open from 12 noon on Christmas Day. Please come down. Please enjoy it. All right. Also, we're still looking for a couple of volunteers for the setting up, which is on the Monday the 23rd. And also a couple more volunteers for the day. So again, you know, if you're on your own or whatever, lovely Jan was here last year, thank you. And this year you're spending with your family, which is quite right, absolutely. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy helping? Yeah, it really does. The Christmas days I've been out and volunteered somewhere, do you know what? They're special Christmases. They really are. Anyway, shut up, Lawrence. Back to the chairman.
No problem. No, you've just reiterated exactly what this church is all about. And yeah, we do try and do our best to help those in need and not as fortunate as ourselves. So there we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to our closing prayer. And I would just like to link this with our healing for all those who are in need of healing, that we think about at this time. Healing is something we can all give and all send out to people, our friends, our family, people who don't even realise they need healing at times, but it's very evident to us that they may be in some form of distress, whether it's loneliness, a smile, just stopping and speaking to somebody. You may have just enlightened their day where they would have normally just gone about their own business without talking to somebody, speaking to somebody, seeing somebody. So on that note, just send out loving thoughts from a healing point of view. Great architect of the universe, God of our own understanding, thank you for this day. Thank you for giving us the stories from Ted, the philosophy from Lawrence, and the readings that have got, the messages that have gone out to the people here today. May this church prosper and continue with all the help, the love, and the enjoyment that people get from being here, being part of this church, and moving forward. Amen.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have another service to go to in my local town, so I hope you all have a wonderful day wherever you're going, wherever you're moving on to, whatever you're doing. Have a wood. The weather stayed dry, and I think it's going to continue to stay dry, so wherever you go today, enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, it's not right. It's good.
Sorry? Was that intended to be lit at that time?
No, just when he said it was not late,
I
I
thought,
thought,
gosh, we hadn't lit it, but it actually worked out really well, didn't it?
I didn't know if he wanted to hold it,
Oh, I see.
so I put it up there and